全信息喺你駕駛之前，你應該將手機設定為請勿打擾，然後將手機放入手套箱入邊，並且要求你嘅朋友、家人都咁做。當我哋盡自己一份力量嘅時候，道路安全對每個人嚟講會更安全。等我哋一齊安全駕駛到目的地。以上信息嚟自華盛頓交通安全委員會。
Are you a small business owner in Seattle who was impacted by COVID-19? The Seattle Office of Economic Development is investing $8 million to connect small businesses to operating capital. The Small Business Capital Access Program will lower the cost of Washington State Small Business Flex Fund loans by paying down 25% of the loan principal. Eligible small businesses can borrow up to $150,000 with a 4% interest rate to cover expenses like payroll, rent, utilities, and supplies.
All of us have struggled through the COVID-19 pandemic, and many of our communities have been particularly hard hit. Some things definitely need to change, but a few things should stay the same, like protecting your child from serious diseases you can prevent now. Preventable diseases like measles, mumps, and whooping cough. Is camp, childcare, or in-person school on your family's agenda? Give your child a healthy and safe summer and school year by making sure they're up to date on vaccinations and well child visits. You have the power to protect. Call your healthcare provider to find out what vaccinations your child is due for and make an appointment today. If you need help finding a provider, visit parenthelp123.org or call the Help Me Grow Washington hotline at 1-800-322-2588. An interpretation is available.
My name is Keith. I'm a barber from Tacoma, Washington. When the pandemic hit, it did affect me as a business owner. I had my own personal reasons why I didn't get vaccinated. But I was talking to a doctor and he checked us and our family. I wanted to get back to that once was, right? I do feel safe knowing that I am vaccinated. I just hope what I'm saying is reaching into people's heads to know that this is the best decision for all of us. To learn more, please visit hereforuswa.org.
Live from Upper Left USA, this is Caleb Brown with Unleashed Entertainment. You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio World.
Welcome to Real Estate and Money, a half-hour program on Rainier Avenue Radio World designed to help you whether you're a buyer, seller, investor, or renter in real estate. Your hosts are two local professionals who will escort you on your journey. Violeta Strash, who has years of media advertising and marketing experience and brings this extensive knowledge to John L. Scott Real Estate and all our clients. And Tina Lombard, who is a mortgage loan originator with Guaranteed Rate Affinity with over 28 years of experience. And now here's Violeta and Tina.
Hello. Hi. Hi, everyone.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, thank you for joining us today on this beautiful Memorial Day, end of the season. And it's breaking into the new summer season. So we'd like to welcome you. My name is Tina Lombard. I'm with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. And
I'm Violeta Strash with John L. Scott Kent North.
Yes. So we're going to be talking to you about the summer now that it is officially raining in. And before we get started, though, Violeta is going to give us a market update.
Just real quick, look behind me. The Puyallup Farmers Market. Farmers Markets are on now. Everything is happening.
Yes.
LTU District Street Fair / Farmers Market, and it was amazing last weekend.
Wow.
So make sure you check out your local farmers market and support the local farmers in your neighborhood, okay?
Yes.
Here we go. The market updates. I'm hearing feedback. Is that me? Okay. In King County, we're looking at 885 homes that are actively listed out there. 504 homes sold last week at an average price of $1,274,000, and last year was $1,118,000. And actually, it's a 5.5% increase. Days on the market remain 7 days from start to finish. A percentage of list price, where last year was 102.4 versus 106.3 this year. And the dollar per square foot, $423 last year, up $79 to $502. In Pierce County, we are looking at 268 homes. 296 were sold last week. So the 268 is what's active right now. And the average selling price is $657,000 versus $585,000 last year. That's a 12% increase. Days on the market, again, 1 week, 23 last year versus 16 this year. Percent of the list price, 102% of last year versus 103.4 this year. And the dollar per square feet, 237, went up $47 to $284. And last but not least, we've got Snohomish County. Let me grab my sheet here. 220 homes for sale, 840 homes for sale, 220 went, it was sold at an average price of $886, and last year it was $792, so that's a 12% increase. Days on the market, all three markets are at 1 week, so 20 days last year, this year 13 days, so it's still going quickly. You guys be ready to go out there and buy that home or sell your home if that appeals to you. Percent of the list price, 102.6 last year versus 106.1 this year. And the square footage, average dollar per square foot, 300 last year, 376, up $76 this year in Snohomish County. So there you have it. And again, things are happening in this market. Rates are fluctuating, and we've got more sellers coming in. Buyers, be ready. So, Tina, what's going on with the mortgage rates?
Well, you know what? Things are still looking good. You know, the interest rates have gone up just a little bit, and it's ticked up just a little bit, and we kind of knew that. We knew there's rates don't usually go straight up. They usually they curve up and down, that so on and so forth. So the valley has been reached a couple of weeks ago. It looks like it's going up again, 5.7% this week. And as you can see by the display here, it's raised a lot on May 31st. So that's to be expected in the summertime. So it says here on Tuesday, May 31st, the average APR was a 30-year fixed mortgage rate, up 50 basis points, up to 5.7. So yeah, that's where they are right now. If you can scroll just a little up a little bit where it shows the 30-year fixed, 20-year fixed, and yeah, right there, that section right there. Okay, as you can see, the 30-year fixed rate is hovering at an average of 5.607. 20-year is at 7.685. 15 years at 4.74. Then you have your adjustable rates. Now these are all national averages, and the 30-year fixed at 5.607. There's a lot of factors that go into it. You know, that's assuming you've got a 720 plus score. That's assuming you're putting 20% down. And that's at par pricing. That's not buying any rates down. And what's notable here, you know, you've got the 30-year fixed at 5.607, but the 20-year fixed is 7.685. That means there's not really a market for that 20-year fixed rate. So why would you, make your payments higher and then have a higher interest rate? The market's telling you to stay away from that. The 15-year fixed right now is at 4.74%. And, a lot of people think that, if it's a 15-year, the rates are lower. Yes. And they think they're going to pay a lower price because the rates are lower. Well, not necessarily so, because instead of going 30 years, you're shortening that time to 15. So shorter years means higher payments. And even though the interest rate is lower, your payment is still going to be higher. So you want to weigh that. The 5-year, the 7-year, the 3-year, those are all adjustable rates. So if you plan to live in your house less than 7 years, no more than 7, an adjustable rate at 5.344 may be the ticket for you. If you're going to only stay in your house for 2 or 3 years because you're mobile, you're in a job that moves, then just do a 3-year ARM. That's at 2.34 as opposed to 5.06. So use these rates wisely. The market in the years gone by, 5 years ago, adjustable rate mortgages were very, very used for that purpose of being temporarily in a spot. And then the 30 years and the 20 years were for people who live in the house forever. And then in the recent years, because interest rates were so low, 30-year just kind of was like everybody did a 30-year, that was it. So now we're getting back to the reality, if you're going to stay less than 5 years, don't take a 30-year mortgage. If you're going to stay less than 2 years, just take a 3-year mortgage. So now you can start playing with the rates as we have been accustomed to. So even though the rates are higher overall on the 30-year fixed, Now we're getting back to normal. We'll only buy mortgages that we need, and we will not be overpriced. Okay. So there you go. Thank you so much, Daniel and Kayla.
Yeah. And basically, you guys, you need to call Tina.
Yeah.
She'll set you up with the right mortgage loan to meet your needs, or the amount of time you're planning to stay in the home, or whatever it is. She will point you in the right direction. Be sure of that. And then and then you can lock these rates, right, Tina? You can lock the rates or relock them. Let them know about that option.
Yes. So what's interesting about COVID and different things that we had to do to help with the market. One of the things that came out of it was being able to lock your loan before you obtain property. So usually you can't lock your loan unless you've got property, and you're going to close in 30 days. So you do a 30-day lock. But now, because the rates are moving all over the place and people are just kind of freaking out, they don't know where the rates are going to be. If you know that you want to buy a house, or you have to buy a house in 3 months, then you can actually go out there and lock a rate for 90 days without having a property. So if you can find a property within 60 days or 30 days, then you can lock at that lower rate. So if rates continue to rise, let's say rates go to 7% next month, but if you can lock a rate at 5.7 this month, or even 6% this month, then when the rates go up in 2 months, you're going to be protected. So if you know you're going to buy, beyond a shadow of a doubt, you're moving to Seattle, or you're moving from Burien to Orcas Island or something. If you know you're going to move, your lease is up, then talk to me about getting a lock before you even acquire the property. That may be your saving grace in a month from now.
And you had a story you wanted to share, right, Tina, about an incident on a lock loan?
Yes, I had two. Yes, I had two very brave clients. Last month, the rates hit 6.5, 6.7, 6.25. And they bit the bullet. They said, hey, Tina, I'm going to go out there and find a property anywho, So while they were out there searching, nobody else was in the market because everybody was freaking out about the high interest rates. They actually were the only ones making bids on these properties, and they got the contract. Okay. And they're closing this week. And when they got the contract signed and everything else, and it came down to locking, the rates came back down from like 6.25 to like maybe 5.7. And then this week, I was able to renegotiate those rates down to 5.3 and 4.875 with a buy down of 1 point. So they weren't expecting the rates to go down, but they went out there and they made an offer on a house anyhow. And what this means to you is if you find a property right now and you love the property, you fell in love with it, and if somebody quotes you a rate of 5.8 and you're not quite sure if the rates are going to go up or down, go ahead and grab that house, grab that property, because if the rates should go down before you close that loan, you can always renegotiate. Most lenders will allow you to renegotiate one time. So if by chance rates go down, that's better for you. If the rates go up, you're protected. Now remember, these houses are going at what? An average of 12% per year, V?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So if you're having to pay an extra $150 a month because that interest rate went up, who cares? Because in a year's time, that's what, $4,000? But if your property for $850,000 goes up to, by $80,000 next year, do you really care if you paid an extra $4,000 in the difference in interest rate? You don't.
No.
So rate means nothing. As long as your rate is less than the appreciation. I mean, if the rate was 10% and you're appreciating 2% per year, that wouldn't be a good investment. But if your rate is 4 or 5% and it's appreciating by 10 to 12% per year, then you're in the positive.
Okay.
So great.
Well, thank you, Tina. Awesome. Let's go to our break.
Estate and Money every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3 here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Join your hosts Violeta Strash with John L. Scott Kent North and Tina Lombard with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. They'll help you navigate the waters of our volatile real estate market and offer you some guidance on how to make your hard-earned money work to make your dreams come true. Learn about current trends, get tips on financial matters, and have fun, interactive discussions about your home inside and out. That's Real Estate and Money. You've been listening to...
Great. All right, V. So what are we talking about today?
We are ending the spring market, entering into the summer market, everyone. So we're looking at what are people doing right now. And I know that we've said in the past that more sellers are out there getting into the market, deciding, might as well do this now. and I want to go downsize, upsize, or whatever you want to do as a buyer. So there's a lot of activity in the market, and we are here to give you some tips on how to maneuver into the summer market. So what is the first thing you see, Tina, when you go to a house outside, right?
Well, yeah, when you look at a house in the summertime, it's much different than in the wintertime. The wintertime, you got snow, you got hail, you got rain, you got leaves. Nobody can really tell. But in the spring, people can see everything in the spring. So, like V had mentioned to me earlier, the outside painting on your house, the landscaping, the driveway, the structure of the trees, the
you're going to
exterior of
see
your house.
your roof, it might have some needles and stuff on it. Have someone go up there and brush it off. Just sweep it off.
Yeah. With all the rain and all the moss that grows in the wintertime. Yeah. I mean, when I was in Seattle solely, I'd say about 50% of my houses had something going on with the roof. And I would always tell my sellers, get up there and you brush that. Get rid of the moss on that roof. Cut some of the leaves back. Make sure the chimney's swept and clean and all that good stuff.
Looks pretty from the outside. And you don't want to see, even if there's some rain happening, you don't want to see your gutters overflowing with water, right? Because you got to get those leaves out of there. Make sure your buyers aren't going to see that mess.
Yes, sellers, let me tell you, I've had appraisers call me and say, listen, there's nothing but leaves in the gutters. There's moss all over the roof. I'll come back when everything's done. But if you're going to sell a property, make sure you get that done, because the first thing an appraiser is going to say is, wow, there's mold on the ceiling. Is there a leak in the house? Is there gutters that need to be cleaned? I mean, what other vices are coming up? So the first thing they look at, when an appraiser goes to a house, they look at the roof. And that tells a whole story. If you maintain your roof, they're not going to call for a roof cert. They're not going to call for all this different stuff. They're not going to look for leaks. So clean your roof. And then also paint in the house. If you're going FHA, there cannot be any peeling paint, exterior or interior of your house. Yeah. So if the tree came down and scratched the side of your building, make sure there's no peeling paint, because there's there any indication of lead-based paint, that FHA person is gonna require that you take the paint off and you repaint.
Yeah. And back to the moss, get your sidewalks, your driveway, whatever people are walking on, make sure you have no moss on those surfaces, and get rid of the weeds in between the brick or the cement, and just make it look nice so people want to walk in. And you got nice looking paint, you got, a clean roof, and easy to walk up to the front door. People are going to love that. They're going to walk in.
And I'm glad you mentioned the door. A lot of times people don't realize you paint your door a nice color, like a deep purple or red.
Oh, that's what I'm going to do. Do you think that's too much, Tina?
No.
I'm going to do that.
I think that's a feng shui thing too. No, I got my lions. I got my lions outside my door, and you shut up. Make your house, make the entrance look really pretty. But painting up your door. If you got some old screen door that's rusty and every time you open it, it crackles and all that kind of stuff, get that out of here.
Get rid of it.
Yeah. Your front door, actually, if that gets an uplift, and your whole house gets an uplift.
Put planters. Container stuff outside the front door, either side of the door. It's going to brighten up that area too, the entrance into the home.
Planters are good. Because sometimes people have planters and you don't realize your plants died during the winter and they're still there. And I know you wait for them to sprout, but take those dead things out of there. Anything that's dead in front of your house, it's just bad feng shui. Just pull it out of the ground. Just get rid of it. I mean, you get new planters or new plants, and V's going to talk a little bit about that. But if there's anything dead or desolate from 2021, get it out.
Time to freshen up the house inside and out. And so we walk in and, have sellers have a bouquet of fresh flowers on a table inside the front door. Makes it look so much nicer. Or I don't normally have greenery. I kill plants for the most part. So I don't have anything green growing alive in the house. So fresh cut things, whether it's branches from a tree in your yard or, I just flowers from the market, from the farmer's market. That would be awesome to just walk in and see that.
Just to smell it too, see it and smell it, and then we also talked about security. A lot of times in the winter, things have, debris and stuff is all over your house. And as far as like security is concerned, they can present a hazard if that's not taken care of. I know like in the winter, a lot of the leaves are dead, and you can see that cameras are perfect. And then in the springtime, a lot of your leaves will overgrow your camera. A lot of things aren't functioning because of the winter. So you want to make sure that you go around your house and make sure your security is at par. And that if any leaves that is encroaching upon your window or your roofs or your house, that you get those cut back.
Yes. And as far as other things happening in the dead of winter, maybe there are critters hibernating while they're going to come out in the spring, summer, and be messing up the edges of your foundation. For example, ants, or termites if there's a problem with wood infestation. Bees, Tina, you're talking about bees, right?
Hey, listen, these critters are hibernating and they're procreating. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They are procreating, so you want to make sure, sometimes, especially up in Washington, there's a lot of raccoons that are nesting in your attic. And here you've got skunks in the deck and you got all this weird stuff going on, nest birds. But you want to make sure your pest control is in order. You get that in order right away because you don't want it to be an issue. You don't want it to be a hazardous issue or, bees and wasps. I mean, they're just coming out now. So make sure you get your pest control in order like right now, not until there's a full-fledged, infestation like in the middle of June or July.
Oh gosh, my next door neighbor, they had some roofing done on their home. And, they left it open overnight, and it only takes overnight for a family of raccoons to get in there, and the roofers come back and they, finish securing the roof, closing it up. And all of a sudden the owners are hearing things thump in the night in their attic. It's that family of raccoons that want to get out. So make sure your roofers, check for stuff like that, possums, bats, whatever, gross things.
Right. And, you can do it yourself, but if you do have a pest control company, it is well worth it. It is worth their weight in gold. You have bugs coming through your sockets, your light sockets and the ventilation, and they get through the dryer vents and all types of crazy stuff. It is worth it to get somebody in there to control all of that because that could really demise your house. You get an infestation, anything.
Yeah, sellers know that when you put your house on the market, there's a seller disclosure form, and one of them is, things like this, that would eating termites or ants, any kind of infestation of any sort. You have to disclose that stuff. And if you do have an issue and you did remediate by having a company come out and take care of the problem, you can put that in there and people will say, well, they took care of it. So, okay, that's good. And they have an ongoing, a visit from that company saying, yeah, everything still looks good. We've resprayed, so you're fine. And if the buyer knows that you've taken care of that, then they may think that, hey, they take care of their home. So
yes,
home.
And to drive that point home, V, a lot of times sellers will leave and they've already moved and their house is vacant. It's when your house is vacant when all these little critters move in, because if you're there and there's flies, you're like getting rid of them. You're spraying things around, you're peppermint everywhere. But when you're not there, that's when all the little party animals come in and they set up a little party, so you have to make sure that your agent goes in there and you go in there and you make sure you get some pest control in order, and the reason why me and V are bringing this to you, and we've got just a few minutes left, is because in the summertime, people, the kids are out of school, people are moving colleges. It's a time for a lot of families. They move their furniture during the summer. They move and they get out before before school rolls around again.
Yeah.
So as far as being the summer months is a very, very hot time for the market. It's traditionally year after year between like March, April, May, June. people are moving. So it's a good time to sell your house, but it's a good time also to get your finances in order and expect that, you may be buying something in the summer. It's when you move furniture. It's when you move jobs, when you move kids. So for us, the summer months also for rates that historically are a lot higher in the summer because there's just more business. So get your ducks in a row. If you want to move before July, August, or September, call Violeta and call me up now because you cannot wait till July and say, I got to move August 1st. You need to set that up right now.
Yeah. And know that it takes about 21 to 30 days to close on a loan. So you've got some time, sellers, to get your home ready to go, but no, it's going to go really quick. And then buyers, there are some of the folks are out there on vacation. They're done with school. They're going on a family vacation. They're off the market for a little bit. So you motivated buyers, get out there and buy those homes before that family comes back and messes up the offer situation.
And I have to tell you this too. If you are selling your property or if you are buying property and you are planning a vacation, okay, red flag. Because a lot of times we need you here for 30 days. You can't go off to Brazil or France or somewhere crazy. We can't get a hold of you because you cannot find. I have some people who've got unavoidable things that they have to go to, but do not plan, I'm going to sell my house. I'm going to Cancun. I'm going to come back. Don't do that because we need you. So plan your vacations accordingly around the purchase or the sale of your house.
Great point, Tina. Wow. Yeah. Especially if you're out of market, you can't sign anything. Well, you could, but maybe things get crazy with wiring funds.
Oh yeah, and you're high gliding over the Everglades or something. I mean, who knows? Listen, when you get down here, you just sign this, get this notarized. We can't do that. So plan your vacations. But and last thing, if you're a seller and you're trying to sell your house, give me a call. Let you know what you can qualify for after the proceeds of that sale has taken place. So if you know where you're going to end up, you're going to have a better plan, a better strategy for selling your house.
Okay, well, Tina, tell them what we're going to talk about the whole month of June.
We're going to talk about safety. For women, we're going to talk about safety. We're going to talk about securing your house with alarm systems. We're going to talk about realtors, women, how you can protect yourself when you're out there in the market. We're also going to talk about your computer fraud, how to guide yourself and to protect yourself against computer and cyber fraud. So the whole month of June, we're going to be talking about security. Women, we're going to be talking about security. We don't want anybody to come after us. We want to protect ourselves. So make sure you tune in every Tuesday, 2:30 in Seattle and 3:30 here in Colorado.
So thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We've had a lot of fun bringing you all this information. Get ready for the summer market, and let's go. See you next week.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.